I am literally rolling.
You are literally rolling. You know, someday that background, Chad, is going to actually be you hovering over the city on your way to work, I think.
I hope so. That'd be fantastic.
One of those beta drones from that company up at the Burlington Airport. Hello, Cynthia and Ed.
Hi.
Morning.
Good morning. Shall we let this meeting officially start?
Sure.
All right, let's call it to order. Tammy, are you writing today, or would you like me to?
Yeah, I'm happy to take notes today.
Thank you so much. All right, well, we'll call to order at 10:03 a.m. and ask if there are any additions or deletions to our agenda.
No addition or deletion, but I'd like to do a little bit of a reorder because I have to take our dog to an emergency vet appointment up in Burlington.
I'll be here.
She'll be here, but I need to leave in just a couple of minutes here. But I wanted to touch on the Google Drive and document management, which is at the end of the agenda, but I'd like to deal with that up front if we can.
Any objections to that adjustment to the agenda?
Not at all.
The floor is yours, Ed.
All right, but Ed, before you go, I do want to just go over the questions that we want to ask the board on Monday. We can put that at the end of the agenda.
We could probably do that. Oh no, we can't do that by email, can we? Because that'll be too late.
So there was questions about being able to where does it say tags?
It's tagged here, public facing and technical.
Okay, so under item 5, section C, subsection II or 2, I guess. I don't know. How do you even say that? You know, they're talking about slick, smooth, searchable, easy to use interface, a system using tags that you can sort documents by, I think, date and searching by date. This all is outside 2 things. It's outside what Google Drive API gives us the ability to do, and it's also outside the scope of what we've proposed. So I really need to scale back the expectations on what's possible here. We can essentially search by document title. If having search by date is important, then I would recommend incorporating date into the title of your documents.
Right,
so
that's what a bunch of the schools that we work with do that. They start they have the date as the very beginning of the file name, and that allows them to then sort it all based on date in the folder within Google Drive.
Right, and to be able to search. But you can't actually, Google Drive API doesn't give us the ability to search just by date, nor does it give us the ability to add tags to a file. Does that make sense?
Yes, I understand. Do you have questions from the committee, Mark?
Yeah, have you guys worked with any third-party document management add-ons that could handle?
No, so I mean, if this was something we would do, first, this is outside scope of what we propose, so we would need to visit you know, what it would take for us to implement something along these lines. What we would essentially be looking at is we would fetch Google Docs data, keep a local copy of that, and then attach on locally, and by locally I mean on our server, right? Associated data. So we could allow you to tag a document that exists in Google Drive, but all of that would be only on the website. It wouldn't be in Google itself.
And it would cost extra, but we could implement the regular Google Drive first, and then we could look at what an add-on to add that, what that would cost to add that extra functionality, if that's something you really feel strongly about.
Right, and I also want to caution, when you're saying an add-on, you know, you're thinking of a system maybe like WordPress or something like that. But remember, we're on our own platform, so we'd actually have to build it.
I was actually thinking about a Google Drive extension. Because there are a lot of document management services that integrate with Google Drive. That was the type of system that I was thinking of.
If you have an
If
example
you have
of
an
it,
example you want to send me so I can look at it, I'm happy to do that. But when I read this, it's sort of like, red lights. Because we just don't have this out of the box at all.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay, I
So
can.
if you want to send sample, Mark, I can take a look.
So Mark, do you feel comfortable sending some samples? And if you want to send them out to the whole committee, I think it would be educational for all of us to maybe poke around a little bit and check them out.
Yeah, sure.
I'd love to see them personally.
Okay.
I think part of it too, Ed, is just that like we're enthusiastic about having this be better than a lot of the ones that we've seen that are a little cumbersome, a little clunky, a little characteristic of Google. So there's a little bit of maybe wishful thinking, but I think the intent was we've used name, dates in the name before as a scheme. It looks kind of cumbersome. People don't understand 2022-0602, right? That's hard
Sure.
for most people to get. That means 2002, 6th month, 2nd day. But
Sure.
the computer loves that because you can sort it and then it will do alphabetical after that. So anyway, we're looking for something I think that has an edge on that, and maybe what it is it's more than we can get out of Google Drive.
I can show you like on HUSD. Let me really quickly, whatnot. Could you allow me to share the screen?
Yes,
Sure thing. You got that, Mark?
I got it. Yep.
Thank you.
There we go. Okay, so I actually want to do this one and then bring this over. I'm just going to bring things over as I did. So like, this is the way that they have on HUSD. This is just one of many where they put everything into folders. And then within the folders, they have the date and then the name of the file. And that allows it to be, so that's kind of the standard what we have currently built with the Google API.
Right, and then using dashes instead of just 8 numbers with no spaces,
Yeah.
makes it a little bit more natural to understand that that's a date, I guess.
I don't know about anybody else, but I can see almost nothing. It's too small. Could you zoom in on anything and just kind of?
Oh, so sorry.
That's
so
okay.
sorry. Hold on. I go
You probably
big
have like
and
some
then-
huge screen there.
I do have a huge screen. 1 second. Okay. So can you see it now? So this particular
We
page,
just-
they have 1, 2, 3. No?
Well, what we
I'll go
see
into
are RV, I can't even read the title at the top. It's RVUSD dash something. And then it's looks like screenshots of different pages.
You are looking at a different screen. What's going on? That's weird.
Yeah, that's what we
And
thought.
so so it's not. Hold on, hold on.
Yeah, you may need to close.
I
and-
need to change what I've chosen for. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. My apologies on that. So I
Probably,
wanted the
you
whole
probably have multiple
screen.
monitors.
Okay, yeah, I have 3. So, all right, so this is
No, it's too big.
now it's too big. Let me get that smaller. So 1 sec.
Bigger, go bigger.
Or go home.
All right, so they have meeting files here, and this on this one particular page, what they have is they've got each one of these is a folder with this name. I know you have to go. Yep. Yeah, I know. Go ahead.
Thank you, Ed. Good
I can
luck.
get it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, we got a really sick dog. So what they have is this is the folder level, and then you open the folder, and this is all the documents within it. And so they've done 2022-05-25 for the date, and that sorts it then by date order within this particular folder. And you can have as many folders as you want, but that's the way that they presented it. and it doesn't have to look like this, but this is basically the functionality that I wanted to show you. Did everybody get to see that? So it's just,
Yes.
okay, right.
Quick question for you,
I'm gonna
Cynthia.
stop. Yeah,
I'm just wondering, in the search there at the top, is it,
yep.
is it only searching document titles, or is it possibly keyword searching within the documents?
It's just document titles, because that's what the Google API allows for.
Right. So that's one advantage. That would be one advantage to using a Google Doc instead of a PDF, right?
Oh, they are PDFs. These are, there's a bunch of PDFs in here as well. They're just whatever files are within those folders on Google Drive.
Sounds like the Google Drive API just doesn't have the facility to search documents the way it would if you were on Google Drive.
Correct. Yeah.
Regardless of the
At least
document type.
last that we implemented it. If something has changed, that's possible. I mean, obviously we will look and see, but we just wanted you to be aware that it was starting to, because at the end of this, you were talking about, getting together with people and talking about how they should be presented. And we thought, oh, we got to really look at this based on what is possible within the technology and what is within inside the scope of what we've coded. So.
Okay, I would be concerned if I would definitely be concerned if the public can't search, if they're looking for annual meeting, they should be able to type the word annual and bring up all the documents that have that word in it. I'd be concerned if we don't.
It would also bring up all the folders that have annual meeting in the name of the folder, right? So if you have annual meeting 21, 22, and then inside of that folder, you have all the documents associated. If you did a search based off of that, it would be looking at the folder as well.
Google Drive, I mean, I've always had concerns about Google Drive being the basis of our storage because it is so limited and its functionality. So I think that's just something we need to look at and consider.
Okay. Okay. Well, if you get back to us with anything that you come across that you feel would work better, and we can see what the API is to whatever that is, we're happy to look at that and then discuss and see what we can do.
Okay.
But
Cynthia,
didn't want it to get too far. Yep.
can I just ask a quick question of your platform? So I think certainly searchable content on the board meeting documents and agendas and minutes and all of that, searchable inside the document is a pretty important part of the total project here. And so maybe that has to direct us in terms of using Google Drive or not, but regardless of that.
Another
Hold on.
another possibility would be.
Hold on. I'm out.
Yeah.
Can I finish let me just finish my question,
Yeah.
please. So my question to you is, do you have something else that EdgeWorks, some other possible solution that you might recommend, knowing that that particular piece is one of our priorities? Thank you.
If you make them actual pages on the site instead of making them documents that reside in a storage file system, it's completely searchable. So that's another way to go about it, right? Is to make them actual pages. And that's easy.
So then we gain.
But then you'll want to
functionality.
link to like any PDFs or anything like that have to remain, you've got a map, for instance, or something. You're going to need to add a link to it, but that's easy to do as well.
Okay, so that gives us something else to think about, guys, as a team in terms of a possible alternative to organizing the documents, an alternative to Google Drive, which if we find it too limiting, then we should probably be thinking of alternatives. Any thoughts on that, team?
I think that would make Meg's life miserable if she had to create a new web page for every document.
Ed might be able to, if everything was a Google Drive document, he might be able to allow the content of the Google Drive document to come into a web page. You know what I mean? So I can talk to him about that,
Okay.
where we're using the Google document to complete the content on the page. So let me ask. But again, I need to run it by him first. To see.
I totally support Mark's point. We need to have a workflow that is going to be reasonable for our people. So we may have to balance what our hopes and dreams are, for the presentation with the workflow and the staff that we have, and we don't have a commercial staff of developers to process these documents.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, any other items, Cynthia, for us that you needed to bring?
Yes. So do we have any answers yet on school club pages, uses of social media, the tagline? Those were just listed from the last time on the agenda. And also the palette. I was told that there was one color that wasn't working. Has that been, do we have anything on that yet?
I'll have to pull it up. I believe it was the lowest of the 5 or 6 colors. Looked the same. I think the 4th and 6th looked the same to me. But let me pull it up.
Okay, hold on, let me see.
Also, to answer your question, Cynthia, about some of those questions that sorry, my radio just went off. We have a meeting with the board on Monday, and we have a list of questions to ask them at that
Okay.
meeting, and those will be included in that.
So, Monday.
Pre-K. Is Elise going? Yeah. Would you? Yeah, thanks. Sorry. Let me know.
All right. While Mark's looking, that the logo feedback. Let me see if I'm getting this right. You're going to ask the art teacher to do the RVUSD logo. Is that correct? Because under the feedback about the logos, under C at the end, it said can we ask our teacher to take a stab?
Yeah, how did we leave that conversation, guys?
I don't remember which logo. What number are you looking at in the minutes?
1B, 2C.
Okay.
B, II, 2C. Sorry.
Yeah, Matt, you were going to talk to the art teacher to see whether that was something that.
Okay, I have not done that yet, but I'll do that today. She works only on Tuesdays, so I should have some information by next Tuesday on that.
I think what our discussion was that she's not a computer-based designer. So it would be something that would have to be, if it was something she felt comfortable doing and skilled in creating logos, it would be something that they'd have to sketch out and then would have to be converted to a digitized version by someone who has that skill.
I'm happy to do that if she's able to come up with something that you're happy with. Okay,
So
all right, so at the
I'll get a
moment,
hold of her.
hold off on the RVUSD logo. You're gonna talk to the art department teacher. Okay. The
So-
STEAM logo,
Let's just go back to the palette quickly.
Yep.
It's the last two, so it's number 5 and 6. If you go 1 at the top and 6 at the bottom, those two look almost exactly the same to me. So one of them needs to be adjusted.
do you have that on your screen, Mark?
I do. I can't share it though. Different computer.
Okay, all right, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up one second.
It's in the email that you sent us on May 2nd at 11:59 a.m.
1 second. Okay. So there's 4 columns. There's the true column, and so it's the 2 in the true at the bottom, the red and the green. It look the same to you?
Well, and they both look brown to me. Across all of them. The true, I assume, is what you'd be actually using.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
one of those.
Okay, so I have to, so we can't use the forest green then, because the red is the school color. So I was asked to do like a forest green. So let me find another color that'll work there
Okay,
for that last color.
I don't know that green's going to work with anything that's on the maroon side.
I don't think it's going to work at all.
That's going to have
Can't be
brown in
green.
it. And Chad, had you said that maroon wasn't the actual? Actually, Tammy, you're probably in a better position not driving than Chad is. Is that the correct maroon? I sent this email out on May 2nd at 9:14 p.m.
Yeah, I've got the proofs pulled up, Mark, too. And I'm not sure. I can't remember how that popped up. Are we just the color palette, right, in the true section?
Yeah, I thought I'd remembered you saying that wasn't the actual maroon for Wardsboro. Just wanted to make sure we had that right.
Yeah, I defer to Tammy to see if there was a specific color indicator, Pantone or otherwise, that was chosen by the school.
There has been nothing that has been chosen, so I would just be going by sight. And to me, it looks like the true looks a little more red than the Triton. To me, it looks like the truer color would be the one all the way, the one in the 4th row, the 5th one down.
So Cynthia, can you take that hex and use that one?
I can use that hex color. Okay, so use the hex from the chart. Okay.
And actually, if you're gonna do that, if you can maybe lighten up the green just a little bit, a couple of levels, that probably will be different enough.
Okay, let me start with that, and then I'll see. I'll run it by you, Mark.
Thank you.
See what you see. Okay, great. So that solves the palettes.
Quick clarifying palette
okay.
question. Mark, the green, are you talking about the green in the true column?
Good question.
Position 6, column
Yeah.
1.
So
Is that the one you want to lighten up?
yeah, I think that would work.
Okay, I have to give another caution because I have to have a green that works for accessibility. So it has to have an 80% contrast rate or we can't use that color. So I'll have to see how far I can actually take that. I may have to shift it over towards, a different color if I can't get the contrast level high enough on that. Okay.
Thank you for checking into that, Cynthia. Let us know for sure.
Thank you.
I will. I'll see. Okay. The Wardsboro STEAM logo. I didn't understand the votes. what direction do you want me going in with this?
Can we give her a direction on this, guys?
Um,
I know we had a lot of opinions about it.
So-
I got that you want a different font. That's fine.
so, I think the paw is in.
Paw is in, okay.
Paw is in. And what we'd like to see, it's a good thing that you guys take good notes, because I can read them and remind myself what the meeting was about. I think what we'd like to see is individual STEAM symbols, just one. It's really busy, I think is our one of our
Yeah,
big-
I agree. Yeah.
So we'd like to see an individual STEAM icon in each of the pads. So I think there are 5 altogether, including the middle. So 5 different ones, but obviously
But
we
just
need
one in each pad.
Yeah, obviously we need to be able to print this on paper
Mhm.
and have it small enough on a screen that someone's going to be able to recognize what the icons are when they look at it. So yeah, I think that's where we ended up, guys.
Okay.
You know,
So I'll do a
one
version
note-
on that.
Cynthia, can I just make a suggestion? Would it work better if instead of taking, all of just using one for each of the paws, what if we used one and put them in the bigger section of the middle of the paw?
If we remove the WES and put one in the center, I could do 5 variants for you if you wanted. We could try that where there's one, where you have 5 different versions. Is it 5?
Would it be a lot for you to do it 2 different ways so we could see it, which one we liked better? So
No,
if-
I can do that. Yeah, I can do.
That would be great. Does everyone
I'm
agree?
glad yeah, Tammy, I
Yep.
do, because again, we're looking at the logo, having the Warsboro Elementary in the arc above and the WES in the pad is redundant.
It
If we're
is.
talking about how to clean it up. So I think that's a really good idea. And the other thing, for the group, I happened to see Tammy yesterday, and we were talking about this briefly, and as to whether or not the claw nails are they necessary? Are they, and I said they're in the paw because it's the anatomy. It doesn't seem so vicious. But I did some looking into some actual imprints of a panther paw, and they really don't show up much, in their walking mode. So again, if that helps for clarity and kind of to refocus on the emblemization of the STEAM articles, they can stay or go, is my main point.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's any discussion as to whether or not, Tammy, you want to keep them or otherwise.
Yeah, I'm not either way. I'm fine. You mean the actual claw, like the little claw mark
The
parts?
little triangle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
If they're not showing up, it seems like it's extra to me.
Right.
Okay.
And of course, I'm wearing my Warsboro sweatshirt. They're not on the most recent logos that, paw prints that we use front or back.
Right.
So just, perhaps in the historical continuance, it may be best to remove.
Okay.
Chad, you're
That's great.
just talking about
That
the
gives me-
nails, right? Not the 4 paw pads.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, just the nails themselves.
Okay.
Great. What else you
All
got
right,
for us?
that gives
Cynthia?
me enough. Okay, yes, I got Mark's annual reports and the video links. Thank you very much. And, okay, so the mascots, I didn't do further work on the mascots yet, but I will. What I wanted to focus on right now, because mascots, that was really outside the scope, but we're doing it, it's okay. But what we really want to do is move the website design forward. Like we've got to get coding, or we're not going to have a website for you before the beginning of the next school year. So I wanted, well, yeah, we're spending quite a bit of time in design. So I'd like to go through what I have, and I'll give you a link for the remaining page designs, and see if we can't get to the point of, yes, it's okay to move into coding to start getting the site built, with the understanding that once we have the RVUSD logo, once we have the right logos for the 2 schools, that, obviously those will be placed. And there's a space reserved for those, but can we get going on the remainder of the site is kind of what I'm hoping. So let me once again share my screen. And then I will send you a link so that you can provide feedback on this. So I have all of the pages now designed, and I'm going to zoom in real close. You had asked on the navigation to have another level of navigation. And I actually like the way that the navigation breaks out that extra level on the current Dover school site. So I've added a caret here, and then that would open over here to, and obviously school choice doesn't have sub pages, but I was just trying to show how the function would work. Oh, and I've got an extra school choice in here. That doesn't, oh yeah, there we go. So, and on mobile, that'll just open up by opening up a panel so that those will show. Obviously, I'll be changing colors based off of what we come up with the final palette. So then coming over
Hey, Cynthia?
here. Yeah.
Can I just roll back to the last page for a second? I had to step away for a few seconds, and you might have already said this, but we had talked about when you pull a menu down, it highlights the upper menu in some way, so you know what sub-menu you're looking at.
Let me do that. Yep.
Is that still okay?
Yeah, that's easy. Yeah, that's easy. My apologies for missing that. You did say that, and
no, I was just wondering.
Got focused on the below. Okay.
Small detail.
It'll highlight. I'll get that in place. So I'll show that to you when I send the link, so that you can see.
No
that.
worries.
Okay. All right. So then what we did was we had already been through these pages over here previously, which was the home page. We built out representative page templates for a straight up CMS page. For the board of directors, obviously these are placeholders of people here, and we can put whatever information. Right now you just have the title, but if you wanted contact information or a blurb or anything, that can be added.
So
mission and
Cynthia,
vision.
others can disagree with me, and they're free to do so. I for the members of the board page, I'd rather if we didn't separate out between Dover and Wardsboro. We're one board.
Oh, no problem. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
I agree. Please, that'd be great. Thank you, Mark, for bringing that up.
Okay, got it. Okay. And then this is a news page with showing the archive and then a blog post itself with the post tags and categories. We have a gallery page. And this is representative of a dashboard. This one's for families, but it would allow us to give some quick contact information, a little blurb to talk to them. Then where we have category and this, you would determine, with the content, what these categories actually are, what the information you want to represent in here, but it could hold a resource link. So a link to a PDF or something like that. It could hold a link to a page or a document or an email.
Not limited to 6.
And it's not limited to 6, it can grow larger if, or it could only be 3 if you only have 3 areas. But this is basically giving them an area to get really quick links to things that you feel are important, and you'll be able to edit this. So for instance, if you needed to have COVID-19 information for them, and then provide links to other sources or vaccination or information about school board meetings that are happening or whatever it is, it's just a placeholder to hold the information.
I really like this, Cynthia. I think this is going to really organize things nicely. I was just wondering though, are we going to translate it from Greek?
Yeah, we do that as a whole placeholder because we don't have any content. This is a
I
new
couldn't
concept
resist.
on there.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I digress.
So obviously any important documents, and this shows that, that we would have a document category that would just be whatever you wanted to name it. Here above it's policy and here below it's handbooks. And then within that would be the name of the folder on Google Drive. And then you would have the document title and clicking to view whatever that document is. And this is an accordion that opens up and closes and could hold as many things as you wanted. And then we wanted to include
Cynthia,
news that's
before you
Yep.
go on, I've got three things. One, Matt, we had a discussion about news. That I think it ended up that we didn't want a separate news page.
That's correct. Yeah, we talked about just having, instead of having a news function, just having a link out to the newsletters that we put out, the IB newsletters, the Wordsboro weekly letters,
okay.
that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, because the news
Okay.
doesn't, I mean, we don't have breaking news that happens often enough for us to really change that very often. It just ends up getting old quickly.
okay. So you don't want to blog at all?
I mean, we send stuff home to parents through the communication system, through the student information system. And we just don't find there's enough traffic, I guess. Maybe it's just because, I don't know why, but there's quite a lot of
Okay.
overhead to keeping those things up to date, and they just end up falling behind. It's my experience. How about you, Tammy? Does that sound about right?
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with that.
Okay, all right. All right, and then I included the calendar. Obviously, we'll just move all this up so they can see what's happening this week and connecting with us on that page. So this would be representative.
Cynthia, I've got a couple other things.
Yeah.
If I don't say them, I will forget. Matt, talking about translating from Greek reminded me that we're going to have a functionality, whether it's Google Translate or something that people will be able to have the website translated to,
That it currently tends to be a browser function now. So the browsers automatically have translators built into them. And so modern websites, we're not adding, a custom translation piece to it. We're allowing the browser to do the translating.
I don't know about other people. I find that at least with Chrome, it translates maybe 1 out of 20 pages that I go to of in a foreign, that just doesn't do it. It doesn't pick up that it's not, that needs to do it.
Okay, well, so Chrome specifically.
Yeah, I run in Chrome.
I'll talk to Ed.
So,
I'll talk to Ed about this. Okay.
and then the other thing is, when you were going back a couple of steps, when you're talking about the menu structure on Dover, I think what we had brought up was that the more menu, that we wanted a greater number of top level menus and less going into more. Matt, am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, but we also said, I think it can get a little crowded up there. We have to be careful about not having.
Find the
too
notes on that. So it was news
Yeah.
that could go away, right?
Right.
And then bring that, it's all probably within the navigation structure, right?
Must be, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at those
Okay.
pictures of those little kids. Those little kids are graduating 6th grade this year, some of them. If I'm not mistaken.
Maybe a stupid question, but we have permission from their parents to use these photos?
We do, yeah. These
Okay.
are pretty old photos, and we got permission when they were taken.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah. They're probably off. I think if I can see them correctly, they're off of our website photo gallery that's up there now. At least a couple of them are anyway.
Cynthia, your the family page is reminding me about some forms that we had talked about including for parents. Is this where these would be located as well?
Oh, it looks like we lost Cynthia.
Bummer.
Oh,
I hope it wasn't something we said.
Did you all see a section for forms?
I remember talking about it, but I didn't see one today.
it seemed like she didn't take the notes that she had taken in that spreadsheet and then implement that. I think she just realized that
Okay.
she needs to go back and look at that. Tammy, I wanted to say, when we were talking about the logo before, and I just got too busy. You weren't here when we had that discussion last week or 2 weeks
I'm
ago.
sorry I missed it.
No. I just wanted to make sure that we got your input, because obviously it's your school, and we didn't get it at the time. So I just wanted to make sure that we got your input.
I'm really glad to hear that you're including the paw. It is part of the culture here at Wardsboro and has historically been. Not only is it our logo, but we use it for our PBIS program in rewarding kids. So if they're displaying our PBIS behaviors of responsible, own it, achieve, respect, and safety, they get a paw print. And then each week the paw prints are put in a bigger pot, and then we pull a paw, and the class wins the golden paw, and it is able to do a special treat that week. So it really is important that that gets passed on, in my opinion. When we first started the RVUSD, one of the things that we did as a school was we brainstormed all of the things that were important, and the Panther came up a lot. So I'm really glad to see that. Did you catch all of that? It looked like my internet was unstable.
I think we caught all but the last word or so.
Okay.
And you're comfortable with not using as many STEAM symbols as were included in the original?
Yeah, I think the simplicity of it will lend itself better to what we're trying to achieve.
Excellent. Great. Thank you.
Sure.
Well, I don't see Cynthia in the waiting room, but let's keep our eye on it. In the meantime, let's go ahead and go through some of those other agenda items while we wait for her. Is there any public comment or discussion?
I just had
Seeing
one
none.
comment.
Oh, yeah. Derek,
About
you've
the
been awfully
PD.
quiet today.
Yeah, 'cause I was just looking through some PDF. I don't want to even call them like a way to index the PDFs. So like PHP, you can convert the PDF to an actual text file, and then just parse all the text within that file, and take that out and just throw it into a database, and they can just search the database. I mean,
So there must be some programming that could achieve some of the things we're talking about that wouldn't require Meg, for example, to be a programmer.
but I think it'd be costly. to go
You think
that
so?
route.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it
It's
really,
gonna be more trial and error to see if everything works right.
a lot of it will be dependent on their back end. If they already have, I mean, I'm assuming they're using PHP to some extent.
I think it's Node. I think it's gonna be JavaScript and Node. Run on a Node server.
And what's the second word you said?
Node.js.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can, let's see what Ed says about that. But even if there was a way for the working documents to remain as Google Docs, and there's some coding that strips the content of the Google Docs and creates a web page, if Meg can click a process that would run that, and then it becomes searchable, it'll look the way we want it to look on the website, and it would, create a one-stop shop for her for editing. That could be a decent solution.
I mean, they can still run PHP on the Node.js server, but I don't know if they're actually using PHP there. I think they're using mostly just JavaScript in the background.
We can
But
see what
they
Ed
could-
says.
you can just get like a digital ocean, like a droplet, like a server for like $10, $20 a month. It's big enough for the store, just basically for the storage, to store all the PDFs. And like you said, yeah, you just run a process just to parse it, and it'd be done.
Yeah. Well, let's see what Ed says, because we want to make sure that whatever we do is within their systems and something that's going to have good sustainability over the years here. Outlive us all,
Hey guys, I just wanted to let you know that Cynthia did email all of us and said that she lost internet in Waterbury. So it sounds like she did want to ask one last thing, and that was if we could schedule another meeting relatively soon, in another week or two at most, so they can continue on the progress. Anyway, we can talk about that
okay.
at the end. I just wanted to let you all know.
Okay,
That's
thanks,
where it
Sammy.
stands. Yep.
All right, no public, any other public comment? No, there's no public comment, so we can say none. Review and approve the minutes. Would anybody like to make a motion about the May 26 minutes? You had a chance to read through those?
I'll move that we approve them, and then I've got a comment also.
Great. Any seconds for that? Mark,
I'll second that. Sorry.
Chad seconds. Thank you, Chad. And comments. Go ahead.
So I think we may be counterproductive to be sending our minutes to Ed and Cynthia. I think our communication with them probably should be more specific to just, the things that we say or that we want them to do, or answers to questions that they've asked, just because it seems like, just from listening to them today, just seems like it's probably more confusing and less productive.
All right, so we'll have to have a process for prioritizing what are need to know information items for Ed and Cynthia after each meeting, in addition to the minutes.
Yeah, I think if we can all just kind of keep it in mind, and as we go through things, kind of say, okay, this is something we need to send them. And then, you guys send the minutes out pretty quickly. If we all just take a quick look through them and make sure that anything is marked on there as, sent to Edgeworks that we think needs to be, I think that will cover it. Only takes a couple of minutes to read through the minutes.
I'm fine with that. I will not be able to volunteer to do that at this point, just because of the workload is too high. Is there any?
I'll take that part of it over.
Would you, Mark? That would be great. So we'll send the minutes out to the group as usual. We won't include Cynthia and Ed on that publication, but then we'll look through it. Maybe as we're taking the minutes, we can star things or something so that we know, going back through it, that those are the items that we could ask Mark to pull out and send in a special email just to Cynthia and Ed. Does that sound good to everybody?
Maybe if we just if anywhere on a line, just in parentheses, put EW, and that way we know that that's something we want to send to them. And it's easy to pull out. And then within a day or so of the minutes coming out, I'll send an email to Cynthia and Ed, and CC all of you guys on the details.
Tammy, does that make sense to you as the person
Yeah.
who's been doing the legwork on the notes?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as Mark is willing to send those out prior to our meetings, that works good for me. That's a good workflow, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I don't want to give you guys more work. You have more than enough as it is. So that's something I can take on.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. Chad, Derek, do you want to add any discussion to that? You guys good?
Matt, I can't remember who's been sending out the invitations. So when the calendar invite goes out, maybe to include those in the notes, so it's just one doc that can be referred to readily.
So Matt, are we using that folder? I send out the calendar invite, so I'll just include a link to that folder that has all of our documents in it, so that you have that easily accessible.
Yes, Mark, I've been trying to use that folder just because it's the best way for me to organize all the documents that we're making.
All right, perfect. Good idea, Chad.
Derek, anything to add on the discussion? I think that's a great idea. All right, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
I heard two. Tammy and Derek,
Aye.
you guys,
Aye.
Sounds unanimous to me. The minutes from May 26th are approved. Is there any correspondence? All right, seeing no correspondence. Any other items to discuss?
Just make sure we've got a complete list of questions for the board. So I had forgotten about the tagline discussion. So we want to ask whether they want a tagline. Do we want to offer up any sample or possible taglines, or just kind of go with, do you want one? And if so, we'll work on it.
That's in the questions for the board, right? Number 4 on our question list. Do we want a tagline? If so, what?
Was it in there?
Yeah,
Okay.
from the 26 minutes. But Mark's question about, do we want to offer some suggestions for a tagline, or do we want to see if they have ideas?
Oh, I think maybe sit on it, give it some thought, so that, you know, if you come up with one before Monday, great. And if not, and there is one, then we'll really put that to brainstorm.
That sounds good. Let's give them a chance to think it through and have a chance to comment on it. Maybe they could get back to us by email, say by next Friday, if something comes to them, so that we can kind of move the process a little bit for Cynthia and Ed. How's that sound?
Yep. Good.
Reasonable? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you much. Any other items? All right, so,
Well, per
Yeah.
Cynthia's request, do we want to get the next schedule?
yep, that's the next item on the agenda is our
Okay,
next
perfect.
meeting date. So I'm open to suggestions. I was planning to say no more meetings for me till the end of school. Because this is that time. June is 60, 70-hour weeks. So
Ouch.
if we're looking at next week, I could do Thursday if you want to stick with the Thursday 10 a.m. model.
Won't be here Thursday. I gotta bring my son up north to Dartmouth.
Okay. We want to try a different day.
I think,
You know, I'm pretty flexible, so.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think you and Tammy are the ones that if you have any holes in your schedule, are
Yeah.
the hard ones, so.
I could do 10 o'clock on Friday.
So I can't do Tuesday or Friday next week.
Okay.
So that really leaves Monday or Wednesday if Derek can't make Thursday.
Yeah, we can't do Wednesday, Tammy, because we have leadership team.
That's true. I can't do Wednesday either.
So that
But you
rules
guys
out
can-
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Totally, have faith in the group. And if you want to carry on without me, I'm happy to
But
give
we
you-
like having you here.
Oh, thank you.
And Monday doesn't work because we need to speak to the board first.
Right.
Right.
Monday's too
So,
soon, yeah. What about the week after, the week of the 13th?
Again, what would work for you two?
Monday or Wednesday. That's the only days that I could squeeze something in that week.
I'm good either day.
Tammy, any of those days work for you?
Either of them would work. Wednesday is the last day of school, so
Right.
it is a little hectic, but
Monday's graduation, but that should be okay.
Right.
Do you want to do Monday at 10 o'clock?
That's good with everybody.
sure.
Derek, Chad, does that work for you guys?
Yeah, I can switch a day with Marlboro.
You could even do it remote too, Derek, if you can squeeze in from Marlboro for an hour or something.
I'm in like the break room there and people in and out.
I hear you. All right, Monday, 10 a.m., Monday the 13th.
Sounds great.
All right, that was productive. It was good to have Cynthia here, and I think these little chunks of productivity are how we're going to get this done, and I'm very excited to see the prototypes and the prospects of how all things will be organized so neatly and smartly, and should be good. Anything else before we entertain that wonderful last step of the agenda?
I'm just gonna email Cynthia now and let her know about that schedule and make sure that it works for her.
That would be great. Thank you, Mark. All right. Who's gonna say it?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion accepted. We'll see you guys in a little more than a week.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you
Thank
all so
you.
much
See you
for the
Monday.
time.
Have a good weekend.
You as well.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.